Okay, he's on his own charging.
It's an exciting and, of course, a beautiful Monday afternoon. We are here once again to take a look at issues the way they are, the way they emanate on this great continent, Africa. In the program Africa Discourse, I am Wilson Marshall. Today is all about what is happening in Cameroon. Yeah, you might have heard about the Cameroonian crisis, where the Anglophone region seems to be at the center of all this. You get to hear about violence, you get to hear about killings, you get to hear about kidnapping, you get to hear about insurgents, you get to hear about anti-government protests. Now, due to the grotesque nature of the videos, I just can add some. Okay, get to see so many gory things that are not worthy, so we choose to edit these videos so that you can be able to really see what they are like going through. But so many images are so gory emanating from Cameroon, especially the Anglophone region. All you need to go to YouTube, just type Cameroon crisis latest, and everything will just start coming out, because the Anglophone region, many of them, they have been clamoring, crying that the world should see and know what they are going through in the hands of Paul Biya. And of course, Paul Biya being the president of Cameroon close to like 3 decades now, more, if everything goes according to plan. It's like saying, look, they really want to integrate the Anglophone region. Why would they be clamoring for secession? That offense is treasonable, that Cameroon must be one. So they don't have a room to say that they want to pull out of the great entity, Cameroon. All right, so an election was scheduled to hold in February this year. Due to the unrest in the Anglophone region, due to violence that marked that election, it was cancelled. About some few days ago, Paul Biya gave a decree saying, come March 22nd, an election must hold, so those people may have a representative in the legislative angle or quarters, you just name it. But how are they taking it? Before going into this discussion, I would like to congratulate our own Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, yes, member of the economic team in South Africa, to tell you that we have brains in this country. Is now a member of the South African economic team. They're trying to revamp the fortune of South Africa, because they used to be #1. Right now, they've dwindled, and they choose to solicit for the help of one of our own, one of our brains. Yes, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. And she's now there. Let's see if she can just use some of her magic wand, so to speak, from her medulla oblongata to turn the fortunes of South Africa. Maybe, just maybe, Nigeria may just want her back to come, do something nice for Nigeria. With me here in the studio to talk about what is going on in Cameroon, he's a lecturer, a clergyman, a political analyst, public affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Comrade Frank Amigo. Welcome to the show, sir. I appreciate your coming.
Join me this afternoon.
All right, here we are. It's like Cameroon just seems to be in the news every day. From 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 20 years ago, you just name it, the Anglophone region, they've been clamoring, they've been crying, saying that they've been oppressed by the government of Paul Biya. How do you view this?
It's a rather unfortunate incident. Cameroon should check their background. That country should have been 2. So those from the southern region, English speaking, and the northern French speaking. Aside from the 2 different languages, the leadership challenge they are having, coming from the side of the president, is what aggravated that crisis in Cameroon. Irrespective of different colonial masters, bring them together. Just like a marriage that shouldn't work. And now the couple, husband and wife now, the north is the husband, the south is the wife. The wife said, I'm tired of this relationship. The husband, the north, said, if you say you're tired, I'll kill you. So that relationship, in the first instance, ought not to have been, because they came from 2 colonial masters. France attended to the north. At the time, Britain Later, they handed over to Germany. So their cultural backgrounds are not even close in any way. So in spite of these various differences, this, in quotes, everlasting president they have there should have looked into this background and to harmonize every segment of the nation. But he failed. He failed, nothing human about what he's been doing. I'm not on the side of a southern Cameroon because they're English speaking. If you listen to them carefully, you discover that they have tried living with the northern part to the extent that you want everyone in the south to speak French. There was a time the lawyers there in the south protested. Why you bring a judge from the French part to the English part to head the legal system? It won't work like that. When you hear let sleeping dogs lie, it was a dog that made that statement, not the owner. You are my owner, I know, but when you see me sleeping, leave me alone. If you touch me, by reflex action, wake up and bite you. So the owner understood. Now human beings are beginning to say let sleeping dogs lie because experience will teach you that. So the Southerners should have been listened to. And now the president, the everlasting president.
You keep calling him everlasting president.
I don't know what he's been there. Even at his age, he's just there doing nothing. Simple opposition. You can be opposed. You can have an opposition party. We have in Nigeria. We have several opposition parties. But the ruling party in any way did not go after the opposition and started killing them. And now they are now tagged as terrorists. So they were denied of so many amenities, social, infrastructure, and all that. So over the years, they have now learned that we'll not be able to continue with the northern Cameroon because there's no policy being made to address the challenges they have been complaining about. The president has not done anything in that direction. So the aggression snowballed into what we're having right now. And I don't see it abating in the shortest possible time until and unless the president listens to them. On this platform, I think a fortnight ago, we're talking about Guinea, that the president there wants to negotiate with the terrorists.
Yeah, I think that should be Mali.
Yeah, Mali.
Yeah,
Mali.
Yes.
They want to negotiate with the terrorists.
Yeah.
And in some other clients, they say don't negotiate with the terrorists. But for us in Africa, we are different. Because the reason for terrorism in Africa is very different from reasons they go to terrorism in the Western world. They have light, they have water, they have several social amenities, and they are still complaining. But for us in Africa, a lot of things have been denied us of. So what the president should do now is to look inwards. It's not to deploy military, start killing. About 35,000 of the Southern Cameroonians are already in Nigeria as refugees. You're only having IDPs within their own country. So that should tell the president that the deployment of military would not be the best option. They should negotiate with them.
They should negotiate with them.
Yes.
Like what I said, Aaron, I just can't put some videos on air because they are so disturbing. You get to see arms and ammunition being carried by soldiers, by the so-called also branded terrorists, exchange of fire. You get to see houses being burnt, dead bodies here and there. You get to see some persons being mangled. Yeah, it's so grotesque, and it's not just what we have to like selectively bring out what we are going to be showing to you to really depict what is going on in Cameroon. But if you want to get the full gist in videos, yeah, you have to be of a strong heart to really go through them. Just go to YouTube, you just log it on, and you get to see what we are really talking about. Mind if you just join us in this discussion, all you need, you just go to our YouTube channel at ITV Radio Benin. You click on it, you get to see videos of our current affairs program, and this also will be there for you to preview, like, comment, tell us what you feel about all of this. Okay, now you keep hyping on Paul Biya. That
Yes.
Paul Biya seems to be the hands of all this trouble that is bedeviling the Anglophone part of Cameroon. How? Because from what the man is saying, he's been preaching peace, that peace should reign in that region, that the Anglophone dissidents, so to speak, should work together with the Francophone region so that Cameroon can develop.
Well, what the president is doing from the voice is peace. If you listen to the beat, it's a drum of war. It keeps deploying military officials to the south. And you are saying peace, more military intervention. Does that bring about peace? To the extent people ran away from their homes, ran into the forest to even disturb the ecosystem in the forest. Animals living peacefully before. Now human beings have invaded the various forests. That's another crisis entirely. Ecologists will tell us better along that line. So if he wants peace, he should bring about elements of peace. There should be development. Listen to the people you are governing. You can't be doing a thing and the responses you are getting as feedbacks will begin to tell you that you are not living up to expectation. Then you realign and readjust what you are doing to ensure that the citizenry will benefit from it. But the man is insensitive. Maybe it's because of his age. He's in the 80s. What is Cameroon that a president cannot handle? Just about 10% of Nigeria. There are about 26 million persons in Cameroon. And the distortions here and there now, having problems with the south. A lot of persons, apart from the southern Cameroonians, Nigeria is adversely affected. But there are some Nigerian traders in Cameroon that left Nigeria to go and earn a living. They have been displaced. Even they are all Cameroonians in the south, about 35,000 of them are already in Nigeria. And the closest part of Nigeria to them is Cross River State.
Yeah.
So now you can imagine somebody from Cross River State now feeling the negative impact of the movement of Cameroon citizens into Cross River State. So one can, it's easier for us to imagine it than go and experience it. If it's possible, you can take your camera lens and do some form of investigative journalism. Listen to the people from Cross River State. They're already feeling the heat. 35,000 joining a state. You can imagine what will happen there. So most of them that left Cameroon, they are doing many jobs to earn a living. I've also seen that video, several of them on YouTube. Parents killed, uncles, aunties killed because of one person that refuses to listen to every other person. But what I'm not so comfortable with is the zero intervention of some AU countries.
We are coming to that.
Good.
We are coming to that. The similar zero intervention,
Yes.
borrowing your words
Yeah.
right now of African Union. It's like they are mum about this particular issue in Cameroon. Before we get to that, let's take a look at this other aspect that Paul Biya has been complaining about. That the Anglophone region, they are too stubborn. They don't want to be part of governance. Don't forget about what happened February of this year. Even before February this year, last year, they have been calling for election. But the Anglophone region of Cameroon chose to boycott the election. Is that not excluding themselves from governance?
Well, if I take that question back to you, what's the purpose of the election? Everybody is hungry. Everybody is angry. You are killing our people. And the same person asking us to come and vote. It doesn't work out that way. The president should not be complaining at all. In fact, there are several war crimes that he has committed, though he's denying it. That those videos are fake, whereby the Cameroonian military men, the way they killed the southern Cameroonians. But he is saying, arguing that those military men in uniform we saw were from the south, masquerading as the national military, which is not true. If you keep on deploying military forces there, won't they kill people? They should. A soldier is not trained to disarm somebody. He's a police officer that might do that.
But they are there to quell insurgents. For what he said,
So
these people are beginning to form groups. They're beginning to form terrorist groups. They're beginning to be armed. They're beginning to attack The soldiers meant for peacekeeping in Cameroon, both for the Anglophone and, of course, the Francophone region.
If you allow me, I say biblically, in the beginning it was not so. The sudden emergence of terrorism, something led to it. A lot of the southern elites were incarcerated. Some were killed. There were occasions they asked for dialogue. Okay, southern Cameroon come and dialogue. They say, we'll dialogue. We'll dialogue with the federal or with their national on the premise that you release those you have held in captivity. But the Cameroonian government refused. How can we dialogue? You have held my people hostage. You bring them out first, then let's discuss. You have not released them. A lot of them were killed while in detention. A lot of them were driven from their villages, from their cities, and you are calling us back to come and get involved in an election. It's not possible. That cry that they have removed themselves from the nation of Cameroon by not getting involved in elections, to me, you should answer some queries over that. You can't beat a child and tell the child he refused to go to run some errands. You just finish beating him. Why still crying? He's not listening to you. He's feeling the pains. And you are saying your child refused to adhere to what you were saying. The people from southern Cameroon can't listen to the president right now. They are homeless. Those that couldn't run, they're in the forests. Some that have some bits of luck, they are in various camps. The very few of them that had the links, they ran to Cross River State in Nigeria. I'm going to move the 35,000 from Cross River State by one vehicle to come back and come and vote. Vote for what? Can they even get their card for election? When you have blown up everything. Their voter registration card, you can't find it, so to speak. So the president is not sincere. I'm sure there may be a cabal. You know, whenever you have a very old president in power, there will be a cabal undertone running the events. But as elderly as he is, he should have that human feeling that wherever he's going to, heaven or hell, no one is closer to him than the people on earth here. So you should have that sympathy. Because the people of the South are a bit more educated from a little search. They're a bit more educated. And if you check the GDP, about 60% of that country's GDP is from the South. So it's a case of intimidation. You just want them from the North to overpower the South to the point that they will surrender everything. The Southerners are educated and they are enlightened as well. So they're not going to succumb to such pressures. That's why they're going to lay down their lives. If they're going to die for the future, for the children yet unborn to live where they are ready. Now, arms and ammunition are trooping into the southern part of Cameroon. Of course, there's intervention by other countries. France is not helping matter in the first instance. France is on the side of the northern Cameroon because they colonized them. Just like defending your own student that you taught in an external examination. If your student that you taught in your local school is going to go for an external examination, and you can help that student, you help the student to save your name. So French government is supporting the northern part of Cameroon to show to the world that it's the south part of Cameroon that is not listening. So that's the point it is now. And they are killing the southerners. The northerners are there watching the events. How long will such inhumanity progress in such a country? A moment will come where the president of Cameroon will have to be charged with a lot of war crimes. Harmless people are being killed, raped. If you see the way they slaughter them.
No, all right, now you just watch your language now. You're going to sound a little bit emotional.
Yeah, but that's the situation. But even you refuse to show it on screen.
Yeah, no, there are some videos that just can't put up on screen.
That's the point.
The one you're seeing right now is the featured one, so let's just work with that one.
Yes.
If you want to see the video, just
it's
go to
not for public
YouTube.
consumption.
Yeah,
if you privately look at or watch those films, you'll be so embarrassed. This mass inhumanity to man. These are the people you want to lead. And you see now they are refusing to go for elections. When you are killing them, The Southerners will see that as a ploy again to create a mass killing. Are we going to come out on election day? Won't this man kill us? They started running. There are a lot of homes are deserted. Grasses have taken over their houses. One has to be alive to talk about voting or not voting. Voting is not the immediate thing right now. The house should be put in order. The Cameroonian house should be put in order. Then everything will flow along that line. But the president is not ready to bring about peace. It's not by saying it. You are saying peace with your mouth and you are indicating shoot. And people are seeing your hands pointing at them, ordering the military to shoot. And you are saying to the world, they are hearing your voice over the radio. There should be peace, there should be progress, there should be tranquility. But what you are doing is not in tandem with what you are saying. So the Southern Cameroonians are no fools. If I were there, I would vote. They should run and find safety somewhere first.
All right, now, there are some of the opinion that the reason why this turbulence is has been ongoing for quite a while is because the southern part of Cameroon, the Anglophone part of Cameroon, the region, they want to succeed. They want to be on their own. Is that not treasonable? It's like being a treason. It is treasonable offense. And that is the reason why the Francophone region, which seems to be the head of Cameroon, wouldn't want to really make light of all this.
We are running away from the cause. We are addressing the effect. It's the effect that they want to separate. The cause of that separation is the reason why the Southerners have taken to arms. That we cannot in any way agree with these people. Historically, you observe that before they could merge them, North and South Cameroon, there was a voting that was conducted. Just that we say majority. 60% voted that they should join up with the North. 40 did not accept. That has been lingering on. Culturally, in terms of colonization, they never had the same background. It's like bringing an economist before a man that can spend his money where he wants. An economist will tell you, no, you have to be systematic about it. The other one is telling you, no, you spend it. When it's used up, you look for another one. So they took parts of Cameroon that they brought together. Culturally, they have no business. So that disagreement has been on. That they want a separation, that is just an obvious thing. It's natural that they should separate. It's just natural. It's not a case of terrorism. Because if the North wanted a united Cameroon, the attraction would have been there all these years.
But picking up of arms, is that not an act of terrorism?
Arms are everywhere.
You're carrying arms. You are attacking the military of Cameroon.
Yes.
You want to chase them out from your region. Is that not an act of terrorism?
Terrorism is just the result of bad administration now. There's a bit of terrorism. But I'm not going to look at it as maybe 100% terrorism. These people are fighting for their rights. They have been dehumanized. And the best option for them at this moment is to take to arms. No other way. You don't have access to media. You don't have access to anything that they will hear your voice from or through. So once they start shooting, they'll get attention. And that's the best option they have. The government of Cameroon has killed more Southerners than the Southerners have killed those that came from the North.
Now you say that is killing from both ends.
It's a competition.
Now can two wrongs make a right? Can two wrongs make a right?
Two wrongs can make a right in this case if the president gets the South and the North together to live in peace. The president is not ready for any of such things. What he wants is an oppressive tendency. I am the president of Cameroon. Initially, they were operating the federal system. And they call it off to a unitary system. I'm sure they revert back to the federal system of governance, that a lot of things will be balanced. As I earlier mentioned, about 60% of their GDP comes from the South. So the Southerners see themselves as, we are rich. In our wealth, we are being impoverished. So let's cut ourselves off from the North and let's use the resources we have. So if the North refuses to deploy some of these amenities down south, let's see a way we can get ourselves some help. Of course, they went to US. The US is in support of the South. Fortunately or unfortunately, the US is in support of the South. France is supporting the North. Then the government of Cameroon should now realize, why would I be the president of a nation and two external countries are having influences for and against? So the best bet for him to have done is to say, America, please, don't worry. I will settle my home. France, don't worry. So like husband and wife, as I earlier said, North and South marrying. Husband and wife always quarreling. Neighbor A will join the wife, neighbor B will join the husband. That quarrel can never be settled. Until both of them, husband and wife, will say, okay, no external influences. Two of us will sort ourselves out. So let the North and South come together and sort themselves out. But the president is not ready for that. You can label the South any name you want to give to them. They are not complying with electoral processes. They have disrupted a lot of things. But something led to that. Is what led to it the cause that we should be addressing. If you beat up a child and you're still saying the child doesn't cry, a lot of schools were closed down. About 6,000 schools, primary secondary schools, closed down. If you have 100 students per school, that's about 6,000 or 600,000 people not in school. Why would teachers team up with lawyers in southern Cameroon for boycott? It's a thing to ponder on. The teachers, the learned people, the lawyers, the so-called learned also, now agreed. They saw it obviously that we can't continue with the North anymore. They went on strike for several days or weeks. So that shows that the system of governance, the unitary system, is not helping Cameroon. They should go back to federal.
They should go back to federal.
Federal, yeah. All
right, now you just hold on. We are taking a look at Cameroon crisis, Anglophone regional election in focus. We are trying to take a closer look at what really led to this particular moment. You get to see the Anglophone region complaining bitterly. Some of them got so pissed they choose to pick up arms and started fighting, and they've been labeled terrorists. And of course, the government of Paul Biya is really hard on them. Like what I said before, I just can't show some of the videos. Yeah, this one you're seeing, they are like, doctored for it to be suitable for you to really take a look at. If you really want to see the real situation, just go to YouTube, just type Cameroon crisis, latest news. You get to see these videos, you get to see disturbing images, you get to see where the military, they are accusing the southern part of Cameroon, and of course the southern part of Cameroon also having their own militia forces accusing the military of Cameroon. Is like, I don't know the right words to use to really paint this. It's so disturbing. Anyway, we want to go for a break. When we return, we're going to take a look at the possibility of the election being decreed. Now, it's a decree right now by Paul Biya that come March 22nd, there's going to be an election to allow the Anglophone region of Cameroon to have representatives in the House so that they'll be able to have people to talk on their behalf. Will the South come out in mass to vote, or they will boycott the election the way they did in the month of February? Do stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just join us, this is Africa Discourse. We're taking a look at the Cameroon crisis and, of course, the decree made by the Cameroon President Paul Biya about election taking place in the Anglophone region of Cameroon. People like saying that this is a decree. From what he said, look, your region must have someone or some persons representing you. So we won't go to the world and start crying that you're not being represented in governance. And he scheduled 22nd of March. With me here in the studio to throw more light on this, a clergyman, a lecturer, a political analyst, you just name it, both local and international politics is well grounded, Comrade Frank Amego. Yes. Thank you so much for spending this time with us here in the studio. Now, some persons called it a decree. that come to the 2nd of March, the Anglophone region of Cameroon must conduct an election so that they will have a representative to represent them in governance. Now, is that not a good thing? And why was it termed a decree? It's all right to come vote and be voted for.
So there's something hidden. The Southern Cameroonians are wise people. I applaud them. Why would you use the word decree? It's not a military regime. Why must you use the word must? You must vote. The third one, so that you can have somebody representing you. One after the other. You are not, except he's telling us, telling the whole world that is a dictator. If there is need for people to vote, they will vote. There's a religious sect. They don't vote, and they don't vote for them. We know them, the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
That's their belief. You allow them. So you cannot even force those ones to vote based on religion. But this one is not based on religion now. They don't want to vote. Because the person they would have voted for, you have killed him by the military officers. A lot of persons they would have fielded for the elections have been killed. So if we vote, what's the likelihood that our person going to represent us will be safe? So the president has not created that atmosphere for the Southerners to trust him. Are you going to move from house to house? Let me see your thumb. Once there's no ink, will they kill the person? The people know that representation is key to proper governance. Then why are they withdrawing from it? It's a question the president should answer. So he doesn't care the way they feel. He wants the world to see that he's going to conduct an election. In the first instance, is it presidency that conducts the election? There is a constitutional body, the electoral body, as we have INEC in Nigeria. Let the electoral body see to the need as to how and when to vote. A decree shouldn't come from him. He has made a decree that this month they must vote. That will further threaten the peace of the Southern Cameroon. Now they're going to view it in a different light. So if we don't vote, it means more military personnel will be deployed to kill us. Okay, let's get set for this next attack. They are not seeing election again. They are seeing it as another round of war. Because the decree is a threat to the Southern Cameroon. You must vote. You must have somebody representing you. And who's going to represent the Southern Cameroon at any point? It will be the best brains. I'm going to let go our best brains for you to kill so easily. So they are careful. The election may not hold.
But now, if you take a look at the clip in March,
yes.
sorry, February 6th to 9th, thereabouts,
Yes.
you've got to see some people, they came out to really vote. I don't know if the people could just have us with that clip. You guys, as they came out, canopies, waiting to vote and to be voted for. Are those persons not part of Southern Cameroon? Some of them wanted to vote.
Those were empty.
But still, you saw some people there, beneath the canopy, waiting patiently.
Oh, well, to vote. You can see very scanty, according to Patrick Abayabo, microscopic few of the Southerners.
But still, some of them really want to vote.
Vote, you must have saboteurs. Look at them.
No matter how few they are, they still want to.
Even a town hall meeting in a village, we have more people coming up. You are heavily armed, you are telling me to come and vote. I won't vote. If in Nigeria, for instance, my safety, my security is challenged, I won't leave home. Now the decree now comes up that I must vote. I will run. I'm not going to vote. Because you've been looking for me, you couldn't get me. And now you're asking me I must vote. If I don't vote, what happens? So now the president has given the Southern Cameroonians another way out. The Southern Cameroonians are ready now. Since it's not a decree, and you're a civilian president, it's not a decree, let's watch out for the worst situation. Those that have appeared to see, as if maybe they came to vote, don't you think they are Northerners? I think they are northerners. You are well armed as if you're going to fight in a world war.
But according to the president, those security men you saw, they are there to forestall law and order, to ensure that peace and tranquility will be the order of the day whenever they go out there to vote. That's why they are there, according to the report.
I'm sure you're a Nigerian.
Sure, why not?
Good. The moment you are going to vote, and by the polling booth, you saw armed men, you won't vote. In Nigeria, we complain about Nigeria. Nigeria is a good country compared to some of the other African countries. You don't see them armed by the polling stations. When you see military intervention that we are fighting against now, they are far off. Maybe so many kilometers away, you see military men hanging out. Not by the point of voting. So nobody wants to come out. Maybe the few people that got there were there before the military came out there. So the way they would have told them, if you move, just stay where you are. And those who have called their people, don't come home. If you come where we are now, it's even safer for you to be able to stay back at home. You can't call for elections that people just withdraw like that. Was there no campaign? And I'm sure the Southern Cameroonians, they didn't bother about the processes that will lead to the election proper. If they were campaigning, this outcome won't be like this. They're not campaigning. What are you campaigning for? I'm sure that we don't need to have a large audience. There might be explosions here and there. So what I think the Southern Cameroonians are doing, they are on the defensive. They need help. That we are tired of a system we have been forced into. For us to be alive, we'll need to separate ourselves from the north.
Is that the solution? Because right now, Paul Biya and the government of Cameroon are saying, look, we want a unified front. We want a unified Cameroon. What do you think should be the way forward in this situation? Because the man is calling, say, come, be part of this government. Conduct your election in your region. It's just your region that is left. No representative from your region. Give us someone or some person to represent you. Is it bad?
Well,
what do you think they should do to really quell this situation, because it's getting more and more worrisome as the days go by?
It will get more worrisome with the method deployed by the president. You are holding a cutlass. Then you have a piece of bone in your left hand, cutlass right hand. Then you're asking a dog that is not yours to come and take. The dog won't come. I've not been voting Cameroon. They have been voting. All these years where they have been adjusting the constitution to favor the continued presidential ambition of this personality. But they're not voting, they were voting. It's of recent that I discovered that we are tired of being fools. They will vote if the atmosphere for voting is created. Those that would have voted, I only have an account of those that fled into Cross River State, about 35,000. And the population is just 26 million. Imagine it's a handful of people, about 10% of our population. 35,000 living, and they have killed several thousands, majorly armless civilians. And the terrain they want to fight, I see the North fighting the South now, that's why I see it. You can't really win that war against the Southerners. Because the terrain is well known by the Southerners.
All right.
So this war will continue until and unless the president does the needful.
And what is the needful in this regard?
The needful now, equity, justice, and all this is palpable, you can feel it. You are telling the whole world you are helping them. You are not helping anything. If you were helping them, they won't take to arms.
All right. Thank you so much. Our time is up. We have to call it a wrap right now on this show. I appreciate your wonderful analysis. Well, we are still watching to see what is really going on in that country, Cameroon, the southern part of Cameroon, which is the Anglophone region. They have been crying bitterly. They say no justice, no equity. Why the northern party say, come on, conduct your election. You must be represented. We are one. Let's work together as one. Instead of saying, you fooled us before, you just can't fool us again. What do you think these two regions should do to make Cameroon one indivisible entity. Anyway, that's it on the show this afternoon. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Bye for now.
This is ITV. Certainly the best.